What is going on, guys, and welcome to Bootstrap tutorial. In this video we're going to have a look how we can make a Bootstrap dropdowns. So we would obviously need to start again with a div, and the classes of div would be a dropdown. So pretty self-explanatory, right? Now that we have a div with the class of div dropdown, the next thing we would need to do is probably create a button. And since it's a Bootstrap, we would right away need to create a type, and we would need to say that it's a button. Next thing we would need to do obviously is add a class, and over here I would write button, and over here I would write button, and then let's say I'm gonna write info, but you can write danger if you want, or anything like that. Basically we're selecting what type of color. And the next class we would need to add is actually dropdown, and dropdown toggle over here like this. And after that we would actually have to have an attribute which would have a data and toggle over here, and the value of that data toggle would be a dropdown. Now over here we would obviously close it out, and here I could say the name of the button, right? So I could say a dropdown button like this. So now I have a drop-down button. Now keep in mind that I could have actually used the link over here. So if I would have said something like this over here, a href, and over here the same, just the closing. And obviously here I would have to create some type of href. I mean, basically I could create a dummy link or something like that. That also would work, because as you know, in Bootstrap we can do it both ways. We can actually, the links could be the buttons, but in this case I'm just going to keep it button just to keep it simple. So over here I'm just going to change it back, and I'm going to have a button, and over here also I'm going to change it back to button. And over here we also could add a span, and I mean there's multiple spans that we could add. Like let's say over here I'm going to add class, and the most popular is obviously going to be array over here like this. So now I can see this little triangle, right? So I'm just going to zoom it in over here so you can see that button a little bit better. So this is going to be our drop down button. Now that we have created a drop down button, the next thing we would need to do is actually create a unordered list. And the class of that unordered list should be very, again, self-explanatory, and it's going to be drop down menu over here like this. That's what you need to write as a class. And over here we're just going to create a couple of links. I will going to tell you right away, I'm going to be lazy. I'm not going to create a different names. So over here I'm just going to write a href, and it's going to be a dummy link again. And over here I'm just going to write home, and I'm just going to copy them, I don't know, like 5 times, something like this. So now this is my drop down menu. So now you can see I have home, 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 home. So now that we have done with the basic stuff, let's actually see things that we can add to these, let's say, links, right? And as we're going to be working with them, we're going to be actually adding classes over here in list items. So the first class I could actually add is obviously active. Over here, if I add active, you can see that obviously this is, once I open it up, it's right away active. Now, most likely it's going to be obviously on a link that we're working on, but I'm just showing you that you can actually do it on whatever link you would want. Now, after that, we could actually add a drop down header over here. So if I say over here class, and I say drop down header over here, you can see that how right away actually centers it. So we know it's a header. So also what we can do is actually take this class active, and we would add it over here, and I would say active, and now you can see that it's actually active over here where is the header. Now after that, we could actually add a disable and active items. So over here, if I have a list item, and let's say I would want it to be disabled, I would write class, and I would write disabled like this. Now you can see that right away as I'm hovering over this, I cannot actually click it because it's disabled. And next thing that we could actually do, we could actually change the position of our drop down menu. So over here, if I would write a drop down menu right like this, and you can see that my typing is still as always horrible. We have drop down type. So you see what happens is every time it opens up, it actually opens up on the right hand side. Now let's just make the screen smaller, and I'll show you the last thing that we can do. Last thing what we can actually do is actually changed from drop down over here. We can change it to drop up. So if we would write something like this, it's actually, you can see that our actually arrow changed right here. So now we actually can open it on top. Now we cannot see it, so I'm just going to create some line breaks just for fun of it. So I'm just going to do it over here, and now you can see I have my menu, and it actually opens up on the right hand side on the top, right? So if I do it over here, it's going to be here on the top. Now again, I just want to stress it here that we could have actually just used the link, right? We could have used the link over here, and it would work the same way. This is going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.